Hey, this is Andrew Brown, and we're going to take a look at Kinesis. So we did Data Firehose, and Data Streams is similar to Firehose in that it allows you to ingest and send data to a location, but Data Streams is a lot more low level, a lot more flexible. And at one point, Firehose was the only way you could do things on demand, but now Data Streams has the option to have on demand. So it kind of competes with Firehose, but Firehose is so much easier to set up and a lot more straightforward. Whereas data streams, you have to provision your consumers and providers. It's just, or ingesters, whatever they're called. They're in the slides. I just forget the terms off the top of my head here. But anyway, the point is that we're going to have to do some configuration. And the original mode is provision, and I kind of prefer to do that for this demo here. So we don't need anything super fancy here, but I'm going to go with provisioned here. And I'm going to go over and take a look at the service quota. If you're worried about costs, just don't do this. Just watch along here with me. But I'm not too worried about it. We'll just say Kinesis, data streams, pricing. Assuming that I'm even allowed to spin it up. Because they might have service limits on it now. Pricing, pricing, pricing. Let's see the pricing. Provision mode. Shared 0.15, so it's pretty low. I'm not too worried about it. I only need one shard, to be honest. Down below, we have capacity mode, provision shards, data retention, server-side encryption. Okay, cool. So as per usual, we're going to do this in our cloud developer environment or local developer environment. And we're going to write CloudFormation because it's a very good practice and it's really how you will be doing it for your companies, because ClickOps is not that great. Apparently, there's a tool to convert stuff into CloudFormation, but as far as I'm aware of, it's very limited. You can only work on like databases and stuff, so it's not going to be very useful for us in this case. We're going to go Kinesis here, and I'm going to make a new folder. This one's going to be data streams, and we'll make a new file here. We'll call it template.yaml, I think, and then we'll just type in Kinesis data streams CFN. And I'm going to go over here to our template YAML. We'll grab these top two. We'll say paste. I'll just say a simple. My Vim hasn't kicked in yet. Kinesis. There we go. Kinesis data streams provisioned. Okay. I'm going to say resources. And we're going to get a resource. So we're going to need a stream, of course. I'm not sure if there's any other resources we need. Looks like we just need a stream. Okay. And we'll go down to examples. And we'll grab the first example here. We'll copy that. And we'll paste this in, making sure that it's indented under resources. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. That's fine. Actually, we'll just shorten it to like my stream, because we found out that, well, it wasn't an issue, but the name, the CloudFormation template name joins with the actual name of that. Actually, if we can omit it, I'd rather do that. Is it optional? It is, so we'll just let AWS write the name there. We have retention period hours. I'd rather keep this pretty low. Minimum is 24, so we'll just put this to 24. Shared count, the more we have, the more we're going to be paying for, so I only need one here today. I don't care about encrypting the stream, so we'll take that out here. I don't care about that information there. Let's just double check and make sure that they're not required. So shared count is minimum 1, so we can actually just omit this and it would spin up 1. And we don't have to require this either as well. It's going to be 24 anyway, so we'll do that as well. We have no properties in here. So we will have to put something in here because otherwise it's going to complain. I don't think we can just have like a type. I don't think that would work. So I'll just put the shared count as 1 here. So it's really as simple as that. Do we need the encryption? Okay, that's the stream modes. That's fine. Stream mode details. Specify the capacity mode to which you want to use. I mean, I definitely want to make sure we're using provisioned here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. On demand would probably be fine as well. We could probably even change it easily to that. So just select stream mode here. And our options is on demand, or sorry, provisioned. Okay. We'll go back here. So far, this seems easier than data firehose. Retention period hours, shared count, stream encryption, not required. So yeah, I think that's everything we actually need to do to set this up. So I'll go ahead and I guess make the deploy file. Just copying the one from our firehose because it's pretty good. So we'll be data stream. And we have CA Central 1. This is totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. So the question will really be, how do we plan on doing this, right? Because we're going to need a consumer and we're going to need a producer. And so we might want to create those as well. So maybe before we deploy this, let me just think about that and we'll figure that out next, okay? All right, so I'm back and, well, just one moment here. Sorry, yeah, so I'm back and, getting back into it. So basically there's the KPL, which is the Kubernetes, Kinesis producing library or producer library. And then we have the KCL, which is for the consumer library. And when I used to look at this, there used to be only a Java implementation. It looks like there's been a little bit of change since last time I've been here. And there's now like a newer version of the KCL. But the interesting thing about the KCL is that they seem to have some kind of wrapper for different languages. So in the docs, they were talking about it for Python. But underneath, it's still using the Java libraries. But the nice part is there's a Ruby one. So I'm really comfortable with Ruby. And so I think for the consumer side, we can make the attempt to use this one. For the producer, I did not see this kind of like multi-daemon translation thing that they're talking about. Multi-daemon maybe exists, but I couldn't find it. And so I literally just wrote some Java, and I had to use ChatGPT to help me through some of the stuff, but because my Java is not the best. But if you want to replicate this part, I wrote the instructions here. I think the only thing that's wrong is this. So I've changed this to this. And so if you want to know exactly how I did it, it's very straightforward. I just went here, I built a new project, and I added this profile here so that it will output to the specific directory. Then we're adding the dependency for the KPL library. And then we are adding this because we need this to bundle in the packages into the final package. And then here we build our binary and then we run our binary. So again, not the best at debugging and working with Java, but this should be enough for us to get working. And I made sure that in our code here, that we can load in these environment variables when we run the binary for our stream and partition key. So yeah, it doesn't look too complicated. So I'm hoping that it just works. And once we get the producer working, then we'll figure out the consumer. I have a lot more confidence getting Ruby code working. This looks really straightforward. Looks like we're just going to include a library or download this here. But I think it's time for us to actually deploy our template. So hopefully this is just going to go ahead and work. And so we'll type in ls or clear here. And I'm just going to go back up a couple directories because I'm right now in the Java project. I'm just going to chmod our deploy script. Chmod. I think I have to be in, data stream, sorry, here. And we'll just chmod that deploy script, and then we'll go ahead and deploy it. Okay, and we'll just wait here just a moment for the change set to create. And we'll just type over here CloudFormation. And we'll go ahead and execute this change set. And we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll just wait a little while, okay? So we'll be back in just a moment. All right, so our data stream has created, so that was very quick. Let's go take a look at it. So we'll make our way over to Kinesis here. And we'll go into our data stream. I was surprised we didn't run into any issues creating that. And so we'll click into it and just see what we have here. So, okay, we'll go over to the application. Obviously, we can use the KPL. I think that you can also use the SDK, but it's not really recommended. At least I don't think so, because it's really more about managing that, but you can still use the SDK to write, at least according to the documentations. So there's that, but it's only in Java, so everything has to wrap Java. I'm not sure why it can't work anywhere else. Maybe it has to do with how much it can send over the line. I don't know. Then down below, we have a few different consumers. Obviously, we want to go with the KCL. It's just better to do that. We could feed it into Data Firehose, but I think I'd rather do that. Notice we have data analytics here on the right-hand side and data stream sharing. So just a few interesting things that are over here. But I'm just looking around because, again, I haven't been in this UI in a while here, so I'm just double checking. But yeah, everything looks fine. I just know there's some way to query data. And that's why I was going, oh, data viewer. So in the data viewer, if there's actually stuff in our shard, we could use that to see records. But right now there are no records. So hopefully we'll come back to that and see something there. But I need a couple things. I need to know what the stream name is, which is this here. And so I'm going to go back to my Java code. I'm just going to tweak this a little bit. I'm just going to say KPL here and KPL. And what I'm going to want to do is just set my nvars. Set your nvars. Okay. And so this is going to be the stream name. All right. And we'll just export that. We're not going to do that just yet, but we're just getting this all lined up here. The other part is we need to know what the shard is. I wonder if we could have got that back from our CloudFormation stack, but that's totally fine. We can just grab this manually. So where is the shard, or partition, I should say, because we need the partition key. Configuration. I'm going to assume that this is the partition key. It'd be really nice if I could just, I don't know, grab it. Maybe we can get the Kinesis data stream partition key, AWS CLI. Maybe there's a command to get it. The Amazon Kinesis data stream uses the partition key as an input to the hash. Great. How do I get it? Is used to group the data by shard with a stream. So I think it's that value. So let me just go figure that out, okay? I mean, it looks like we can put whatever we want as the partition key. Also, it's really nice to see that we could have just used the CLI this entire time to put a record and get a record. I mean, it still would be useful to see if we can get KPL and KCL working, because that is the real use case that you'd use. You probably wouldn't be using the CLI because you'd want this thing continuously running. But it looks like we can just put whatever we want here. So maybe we'll do this as a quick test to make sure we understand how our data stream works. So I can just go here and I guess we can just, it's basically, we are basically making the partition key. There's not like a partition key that already exists. We're basically setting it as we place it in here. So I just put 1, 2, 3, and I really don't know the optimal way of doing that key here, but I don't care. I just want this to be set here. And say test your data stream using the AWS CLI. And I think that would probably be a good idea for us to do here. So I'm just going to copy these here, and we'll paste these in here. And what I'm going to do is just then pass these on here. So we'll just say stream name. I mean, I wrote KPL stream name. It should just been Kinesis data stream, but whatever. I'll just change this to like Kinesis data stream. Let's say data stream partition key. I know I'm being very indecisive here, but I think it's important that we do this, because if we do write the consumer, we're going to have to use the same keys. So it makes more sense to make that naming a little bit more consistent here. We probably should spell stream right, otherwise we're going to have an issue later on, which I don't think we want to have. So go ahead and paste that in there, and we'll go back and copy these 2 lines, and we'll just type in clear, and I'll paste these in. We'll hit enter. And so now I'm just going to take these here, and we will put this here. And we'll put this here. So the idea is that this will put that record into our Kinesis. So we'll hit enter. And, you know, make sure that you have your credentials set up. I didn't do this beforehand, but this is already connected to my AWS examples account. And so you can see we're getting stuff back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Kinesis. I'm going to use the data viewer and see if I can get any records here. And it's saying that there are no records. I don't really believe that because we just sent data to it. I'm just going to refresh this and I'll drop this down again. We'll say get records. No current records found using the latest, etc. So always start with the most recent data in your shard. Double check if your data producer is ingesting data. Okay. Well, I just want, oh, there's some data. Okay, if I go latest, do I see it now? So it's interesting. I go latest, I don't say anything. I go trim horizon. Don't know what that means, but my point is that the data is there. So that is good. We could probably look at this and read about it. Shows records at the last untrimmed record in the shard, which is the oldest data record in the shard. Shows records just after the most recent record in the shard so that you always have the most recent record. So does that mean if there's only one record, it always show nothing because it's not the oldest one? Maybe that's what that means. So if we made a second record, maybe it would show up. So let's go back and try this again. And we'll just say record 2. Okay. Well, yeah, of course it's not. It's not a, it's just a string. Let's try this again here. Oh, give me a break. Really? There is a command to do base64. In fact, we did this somewhere here, probably under API. Base64, readme. There we go. We can just use this command here to do base64. So we'll just take this here. They look pretty much the same. Oh, that's the decode. So this will be to encode. So we'll go back over to here. And I'm just going to paste this here. And yeah, let's just do this. So I'll copy this here. Paste that there. And then the idea is that this is what we really should paste in. So we'll go ahead and try this again. Let's try that and see if it likes that. It kind of explains why it was all gibberish on the other part there. Let's go back over to here. It's weird that they showed that as the example, though, the test data part, when they should have showed base64 encoding. But hey, their docs aren't always the greatest. So we'll get the record again. And now we can see 2 records. What if we go latest? Does that give us the last one? No. But hey, at least trim horizon works. And they're all in the same partition key. So clearly we can just set whatever we want here. There's probably some optimal way of doing it. But hey, we can see our data. So that's what's important. But let's go back over to this. And so obviously we can write here. The next question is, can we consume with the CLI? So we'll go back over to here, and this is our get record. And they're using trim horizon, so I guess that's how you would grab it. Write data, get data. And here we'll grab this. Stream name, I don't know, it's not in the same order, but whatever. And we'll grab this partition key here. So now it's saying what the shard ID is. Well, I mean, that is the shard that we're using, so that is totally fine. I'm just going to export that as well and just say data stream shard. It looks basically the same as what we're using, I think. We go back over to Kinesis here. Shard ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's really hard to count. Anyway, I'm going to hope that is the right number zeros and this will just work, but we'll find out here in just a moment. So we'll just cut this out here and we'll paste this up here and we'll copy this line and we'll go down below and hit enter. And then we'll take this data shard, stream shard. We'll paste that in here. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and copy that line. We'll type in clear. We'll paste this in, hit enter. And so it looks like it's getting something. I mean, it says shard iterator. That's not very useful to me, but I I mean, it is doing something, so I'm assuming that is good. So here goes chart iterator. So recall that Kinesis commands has a data stream API behind them. So then we have to use that as another thing to get it. Here they're just talking about how you could automate it in one go. I mean, sure, yeah, we could just do that. That would probably be more useful. So go here. I'll put parentheses around this. When we're running it just in here, we have to put the export in front of it. Normally, we don't necessarily need to do that. Do we need to like output that as text? Sometimes you have to do that here. So go back over to here. Is it output text? Query? Yeah, so we have to query it at least. Again, surprised it's not doing like text, like output text. Just copy what I can here. And I'll go back over to here. And just paste that in as such. Okay, and so I'm going to just copy this. And we'll paste this in, hit enter. And then I just want to echo out iterator. Okay, so we do have that. And so now we can go to the next line, which is this. I'll paste that in. Okay, great. And so we're getting the record back. So, or we're getting records back because it's getting everything from that partition. Yep, the 2 records. Okay, that's good. All right, so I guess the next thing would be, let's go back here for a second, get records. Yeah, that stuff is fine. So we obviously can write and get, but it'd be really nice to see if we can use the KPL and the KCL. If we can't, that's totally fine, but I would like to make that attempt. So yeah, this is the script, and let's just talk about it. So the idea is that we need to import the Kinesis producer, the KPL library. This gets included in your dependencies. So we added here. I just got that from wherever the website is. I made a link for that in the and we're using Maven as our means to install. This is the Maven script, of course. Then we need to include in our plugins this stuff here. Again, this is for bundling in the package into the final binaries because we're not externally referencing it. And I think those are the 2 modifications that I made in here. There was obviously this, the output, where the final output binary is going to go. So coming back over to our original README here. Yeah. So we build the project, we added this stuff in here. And so the next thing we need to do is build the binary. And so we need to make sure we're in the correct directory. And that'll be the KPL example. We'll go ahead and copy this. We'll paste this in, and that should generate an output, assuming we don't have any errors in our code. Really hope that we don't, because I'm really bad at debugging Java, and Java really needs full stuff to do that. And so I was fiddling with the these end bars here, so it's just missing that semicolon there. Java is super picky, but hey, it works on everything. And we'll give this a moment to build. It looks like it's working, so I don't think we're in trouble here. We'll just give it a moment. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So now that it's built, we should be able to run the code. And I'm just hoping this works because it's quite hard to do. But if we go down here, we have run your binary. So this will be, we'll just take these 2 because this is going to come in later. So we do need to set these end vars. I mean, these are already set in the environment, so I don't necessarily need to set them again. If they're set in here, they should get passed along. The only thing I might want to change is the partition key. So I'm going to just change this to 456. And we're going to export that data here. Whoops, don't want to build it twice. That was a close one. Copy. And so now what we need to do is go into our output directory. And we want to run this. So this is going to be this command here. Let's take a look at what this was named. And there's probably some way to change the output name. I'm not clever enough to do that. I think it has something to do with this, like 1.0 snapshot, or I don't know. But we'll go over here to our output directory and take a look at what the output name is. And here the name is this oh no, it's here. Okay, it's right here. Okay, great. So it's actually the same thing. So we'll go ahead and copy this and we'll run it and hopefully it just works. Hello world. So it's printing out hello world. I don't see any errors per se. That's that last command here. And we didn't tell it to do anything. Like we didn't say print out anything. So I'm going to assume this works. We'll go back over to here. And we'll get our records. Say latest. Trim horizon. And so I don't see anything. So it makes me think that this might not be working. And we don't really have very good error handling on this, so that does not help too much. So I'm just thinking about this for a moment here. So yeah, just give me a second. I'll go figure it out. There is like a code base that we can look at that I was kind of referencing by AWS. It might have been, just say like KPL examples, GitHub. Yeah, this one has, I think, examples in it. If we go to Java here and we go Kinesis producer sample, this is what I was kind of looking at to kind of figure it out. But the code I'm using is the bare bones one that they have in the docs. They're just like, do this. And it clearly isn't just that, right? There's a little bit more to it. But if something's going wrong, it's not telling us what. And we kind of need to know what's going on here. So let's go back over to the code example here and see if we can find anything interesting. So I'm looking for that record, that put record part. And this one is clearly a lot more verbose. This is not helpful. We'll go back over to our code here. Oh, add user record. Okay, so we'll say add user record. And so here it gets called here. What I'm looking for is to see if there's like anything additional that we're missing. Doesn't seem like it. The other thing that we could do is we could maybe echo out some of these things, or like just print out these things, make sure they're actually getting set. So what I'm thinking here is maybe we could just print out these. I don't remember how to do interpolation for Java, so I have a nice, I wrote all this, by the way. So anytime I can't remember a language, I just go here. This isn't public, by the way. I'm just looking for string examples to do interpolation for Java. So it should have strings somewhere here, or it could be like basic, oh, printing, here we go, Java. And I'm looking for, yeah, that will do it. I mean, I really, all I want is interpolation, but whatever, that's fine. I don't know, maybe there's like an easier way to do it. Just give me a second. I couldn't find like an easy one, so I'm just going to use pluses. That's probably how it's supposed to be. So we can just probably do, that's like the old school way of doing it. But we have a hello world, like a hello world here, but let's just say goodbye world. And we'll keep our hello world in here and at the top. And I'm going to go down here and we'll just print these out because I just want to see if they're actually working, you know? I would assume that it would produce an error if there was a problem. And so we'll go here and just say stream name. And we'll get partition key here. All right, and I'll type in clear. While we're here, we might as well just try to output our data. So I'll just go here and just say loop parse string. Like, how do we conversions? Convert number to string Java. I mean, it's actually a integer, but oh, it's just .toString. Okay. So we'll go here and just say I to string. There we go. Not sure why this keeps complaining over here. Syntax error, semicolon to complete statement. What are you talking about? It's right there. Okay, well, I'm just going to ignore that one there, but this will give us a little bit more information. And so I'm going to go back over to here. We'll just go back up a directory, and then we'll just go ahead and rebuild this. Super fast process, of course. It cannot be dereferenced. I don't want to dereference. I just want to print it. Give me just a second, okay? You know what? I don't even feel like figuring it out. I'm just going to take this out here because if it loops 100 times, we know that it's going to happen 100 times. We don't need this 100 times. Let's just do this 10 times. Or even 5 times is enough for me. I don't need like that much. And so loop should just get printed out 5 times. We'll go ahead and hit enter. And we'll let this build. Shouldn't take too long here. We usually don't have to pause for this. Almost done. Come on. There we go. And we'll cd back into our output directory. I'm going to hit up again till we get to this. And we'll run it. And so hopefully we see some output. And we get our hello world or goodbye world. It's showing our data stream and our partition key. So those are fine. Let's go back over to Kinesis. Maybe something's changed since the last time we've been there. Maybe there's more data. I don't see any new data. So clearly something is wrong with our code. Again, I'm not going to spend way too much time on this, but let me go see if I can fix it off video. And if I actually get it working, we'll be back here. If not, we'll just skip it, okay? All right, so I didn't get it to work, but I just want to tell you what I figured out. So the thing is that if we go down a little bit more, they say that you can add these to futures, which allow you to then see if the result is working down below. I tried using this code, doesn't exactly work that way. I try to get ChatGPT to help me a bit here. And so, you know, it is doing something, but we're getting an error here, and it's just too much work for me to figure out. You know, again, if you have to do this for real, you'd actually have to figure out how to work with the KPL because there's no way around it. It'd be really nice if there was a wrapper for Ruby. So just say like KPL Ruby. There is one for the consumer library, but there's not one for the producer library. So, I mean, we could go and try to utilize the Ruby one here. I think it's good enough. We made a data stream. We read from it. We sent data to it. We read data from it using the API. You know, this is more of a stretch goal, but I think this is sufficient. And we got a little bit of experience out here with, at least with Java, and understanding Java is hard, and we'll leave Java to the experts. But I'm going to go ahead and just delete this output directory as I don't want this committed to my repo because those binaries can be very large. And I'm just going to commit this code. As that is going, I'm going to go ahead to CloudFormation. I'm going to just tear down my Kinesis cluster. All right. And yeah, I'll commit my code, but I'll see you in the next one. Okay. Ciao.